Hey, how are you? So, figured I'm testing out my new little rig here. So I wanted to see if how it works out. So you let me know. Click here. Okay, just stop. If you're there, tell me if you can see me. How clearly you can see me. If you can hear me clearly, let me know. Let me know. So I'm testing out a new little laptop that I bought specifically for when I travel. Because now that COVID is over, I tend to do a little traveling. Uh, yeah. So welcome to the stream, everybody. Thanks for joining. Let me know how the sound is, how the clarity is. Do you hear me? Is there any video stuttering? Let me know because I'm testing out this whole new mini laptop here that I got going on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right. So there you go. We can. Good. It works AF. Good. Yep. Good. Sounds good. I'm using an inexpensive version of my expensive mic here. It's a USB mic. It works pretty good. Yes, we can hear you from Bangladesh. Ah, very good. Saludos. How are you, Camarlo? How are you? It's perfect. Good. So I'm using a tiny little laptop to do this now. It's just a little thing. So when I travel, everything will be clear. So if you have questions, now is the time to put them to me. What time is this? 4 o'clock my time. Yeah, good. So, good. Steph, can we ask you a question? Yeah, go ahead. That's why I'm here. Ask me a question. I'll do what I can. Let me get rid of this thing here. All right. So that's good. So, hello from TJ. Where's it? We can see and hear you. Clarity. Okay, good stuff. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, this is the real cool thing about this rigging is that I can actually look straight at the camera as opposed to have to be on the side. Because before with um, my other computer, look at the size of this thing. So that was troubling. That was problematic. So yeah, M1. Yeah, exactly. I'm using now the M1 MacBook Air because I did the reviews and everybody was saying that the M1 MacBook Air was pretty much as powerful as the Pro. And the Air is smaller. Yeah, sure. This is it right here. Little laptop. Very cool. This little M1 Air, which weighs like nothing, is actually the processor is more powerful than my 2019 iMac, which was a beast. So that's pretty good. Tijuana. Ah, very cool, man. Very cool. Well, thanks for joining the stream, guys. Small group. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, there we go. Amir's got a question. How to become a software engineer? I think it's far away of being a programmer. Software engineers are people like Kent Beck, Uncle Bob. Programmers are just a bunch of typists. That's what software engineers will tell you. The reality of the situation, guys, is that in the real world, when you get into actual development, you'll find that software engineers and developers are pretty much doing the same jobs most of the time. Welcome. Why do programmers love MacBooks? I don't know. I did most of my programming on Windows, by the way, in my active career. I use Macs now simply because I find the operating system more stable and less of a headache. That's all. There's also a high resale value with the Apple products, by the way. But the aesthetics, yeah, one of the reasons is aesthetics are a big reason, dude, for sure, 100%. Don't let people fool you. Aesthetics are always an issue with anything, just about. So I just go with Apple, partly aesthetics, but partly because because Mac OS is essentially a Unix. It's Unix behind the scenes. It is very stable, less headaches, not near as many updates. I just prefer it in that way. But both are good machines. You can write amazing code on Windows, on Mac, on Linux. Doesn't matter. That's up to you. Yeah. So, Steph, are you a human or person? I'm not sure what I mean by that. Cheers from France. Hey, bonjour, bonjour, Monsieur Dieto Dayton. J'espère tout ça va bien avec toi. Best ID to learning JS. I don't know, whatever. Get Visual Studio Code. It's free. It works fine, you know. Yeah, AAK Dudes is on Discord. By the way, if you look, oh, actually, I don't have the links below because I'm streaming off of another server. Let me put some better lights on this. Hold on. Boom, boom. All right, there we go. So, how's the cinema camera doing? The video's good, I hope? Yeah, it's good. All right, good. So, everything's good. How do you organize your know how? Do you type it as documentation in Word or do you use other techniques? How do you organize your know how? Could you expand upon that? What you mean by that? What do you mean by my know how? But the resale value you pay in additional upfront. Yeah, that's true. You pay it upfront. But I'll give you an example. So I had a 2016 laptop from Apple and a 2016 tablet from Apple. And I brought them into Apple and it was like a 5-minute transaction. And I got about 25, somewhere between 25 and 30% of what I paid for them 5 years ago. 5 years ago. So that's pretty good. Now, it was a credit. It was a credit, mind you. But nonetheless, it was significant reduction. So assuming that holds true, you can think if you buy an Apple product, assume you can get after 5 years of use, you can get 25% of your money back, which is pretty amazing. You think about it. But, you know, do what's good for you, man. Steph, how can I double my money? Well, the best thing to do is just to buy index funds and keep adding and adding and adding. Index funds, way to go. Concentrate on your skills kills in your finances. Invest in ETFs and other diversified investments so you can concentrate on your skills. And in a very short period of time, you make a lot of money. If you're wondering, Hamza, you should take my money course. It's very inexpensive and it will set you up for life. Just take that, trust me. Do you use traditional pen and paper ever anymore now? 100%. Being that I'm the 169-year-old nerd, I got books. All my notes are in here, my friends. All my notes are in here. So I always use pen and paper. I just like jotting down ideas that way. I find it's faster. It's faster than, well, actually, I type faster. You know what? Honestly, I type much faster than I write, but I still prefer writing. Uncle Steph is in the house. Thanks for joining the stream, guys. Welcome. I used to have peace from across the pond in London, UK. Hey, thanks for joining the stream, Atticus. What's going? You already know the answer, Hamza. Crypto. Do you use a to-do list technique to manage your task you want to have to do in programming? Oh, yes, I do. Anything that requires any type of complexity, there's definitely a to-do list happening for me. That's for sure. Evan says, hello, is it okay to copy all code from a blog for a project and just make some tweaks and modifications? Yeah, why not? You know, if you know, code is not copywritten, if it's open out there and it does the job, you know, top 3 rules of software development: reuse, reuse, and reuse. So reuse is good. Hello, who's arriving? How are you doing? I'm doing great, man. How are you? Do you have any plans for the long weekend? Well, I'm Canadian, so I don't know if it's a long weekend for us. One aspect of being a lifelong entrepreneur, last time I had a job, I was a bouncer in a nightclub. I was like 18 years old, 18, 19. The holidays are a blur. Like the only thing that affects me is other people. They say, oh, we have a holiday this week. And oh, okay. So anyway, that being said, it's not a holiday up here in Canada. I don't think so anyway. Somebody mentioned that to me early. I mean, new learned things, for example, Linux commands or Java knowledge. Oh. You know, when you're first learning this stuff, when you're first learning technology, I can see how you'd want to take notes. It's good. It's something I recommend because it helps with if you do Lizard Wizard, I would say links below, but I didn't put the links below in this video. You can check it out on previous video. If you do Lizard Wizard, you know that activating tactile senses will help you with retention. So it's good to take notes. Please show us last page. Steph, do you know Boston Hibbs? No, I don't. Kelby says, as a freelancer, does the client provide you with the source code when working on existing site? Not sure how that normally works. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, of course, if you're going to expand their software, the client has to provide source code. How are you going to update it, right? You have to get that. By the way, let me know. This is a whole new rigging. I'm using a brand new mini laptop, the smallest laptop in the Mac infrastructure, M1 Air. So this is what it is. And I'm using a USB mic here. And just tell me how's it sound? Is it good? Let me know. Is the video clear? Thanks a lot, Stefan from Finland. Hey, thanks for joining the stream. I'm glad I could help. By the way, if you're new to the stream, this is the official channel salute. It's this. I borrowed this from Star Trek. It's code long and profit. That's the code long and profit. If any of you are on Discord, you should go tell people on Discord that we're live here. Hey, Steph, do you plan expanding Lizard Wizard? I do plan. I'm going to be expanding KOMODO first and adding to Lizard Wizard. A lot of people like it. And I hear good things. People are saying it's life-changing and all this kind of stuff. So I think I should expand upon it. Yeah. What do you think of this new camera angle, right? Because I have the small screen, I can put my cinema camera right in front of me here. So let me know what you think. Hey, Steph, is there a good way to learn how to design a good software? There's a lot to it, man. There's a lot to it. I should do a video on software design architecture. Hey, Jacob, bonsoir, Canada. I just want to say hi from France. Bonjour. J'espère que tout ça va bien, monsieur or Madame Jacob. I think it's Madame with the heart. So thanks for joining the stream. I agree with you, Steph. Index funds, but from the source, from Vanguard and such, because index funds through 401k has larger fees. Yeah, I don't know what the 401k situation is down in the US, but index funds is the key. Vanguard are great because they're super low fees. And you just keep building that up and you don't have to think about it. There's a strategy investment called barbell. And basically what you do with that is you put most of your money in index funds. S&P 500, technology, robotics maybe, they're all index funds. Index funds are basically an aggregate sampling of the top companies in a particular sector. So the index funds for the S&P 500 is basically a slice of all the top 500 companies in the S&P. I have index funds in robotics. So they basically pick all these different robotics based companies. So you don't have to become a robotics expert. If you figure robotics is going to get big, you buy a robotics index fund. So you don't have to pick the winners and the losers. Like for example, search engines and social media are big businesses, but most search engines went bust and most social media went. So it's good to have index funds. I hope that makes sense. France is the place. Haha. Yeah, a lot of French today. That's cool. That's cool. That's good. How not to forget already know programming language, learning a new one, and how to prevent mix-up syntax when you're still learning both. Hello, Bird. Welcome to the world of code. I have written commercial software in 8-9 languages over the years, and I will mix them up all the time until I get into it. Within 20 minutes, it all comes back to you. So you may have, let's say you started off learning JavaScript and you wrote a bunch of JavaScript and then you go to a new job and you do a bunch of Python. And then 6 months later, you haven't written JavaScript, you forget, and you know, whatever. It will take you 10, 20 minutes to get back into the swing of things vis-a-vis JavaScript and you'll be fine. So don't worry about it. That's why God invented integrated development environments and code editors to help you with the code completion. No big deal. No big deal. How long does it take for a concept to be understood for full stack development? I know there's a steep learning curve, but I would like to know how long it takes. Even it all depends on the courses, it all depends on you, it depends on the efforts. I've had many students go from zero to getting a job within a few months with my full stack course. If you want to get into it, money back guarantee, just go to my previous video streams. You'll find it there. I'll post it under this video when I'm done. I'm just doing this as a test, by the way. I wanted to see if this new computer and this mic would handle the job. So let me know. How are we doing, 63 people? Let me know if this is cool for you guys. Hey, Steph, how do you upload HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files to the internet to make your website live? How does that process work? Please help. There's several ways you can do that. Hosting companies will have control panels that are basically open up in a website and boom, and they say upload site, and you press a button, you upload site. That's the easiest way. There's software called FTP and it's file transfer protocol. That's another way it's a piece of software you buy. Certain web design software will have this built in. You upload that way, and then there's fancier ways, of course. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're in my course or not. If you did my course, you learn all about that. It teaches you how to upload stuff. But you can ask your hosting company, say, how do you upload? Sometimes they'll do something called SSH, but that's more professional level, not necessary when you're starting out, especially. What is the best way to understand from watching online lectures? Do you watch and write what I remember after the lecture? I would take notes as you go, especially if they're online where you can pause. Take notes as you go, pause, take notes, pause, take notes, pause. The act of writing will help you to remember much more easily. Somebody say we don't need to reinvent the wheel, but there is exception like always. There's always exceptions to every rule. Peace and long life. Peace and long life. Code long and profit. All right. Works great. Okay, so everything's working great. That's cool. That's good. So I can head down to California and stream. A family member wants to get a job as a coder. Previous experience is 0. Would you recommend going back to school or boot camp or self-taught course? Listen, I am biased, of course, right? I deal with a lot of schools. I've taught in the school system. I've taught maybe 1 million kids, students how to code, real world code. So I'm biased in that regard. But on the other hand, I have a boot camp, and I have also self learning courses as well, which are inexpensive. My boot camp is great. Check that out. I think your family member can get up and running in a matter of months without having to go back to school. That's the great thing about software development. You don't need a degree in many places to get a job. You just need to show skills that kills. By the way, give me some thumbs, guys. If you like this type of video, give me some thumbs. I'd appreciate that. Yeah. So what else do we got here? If it works, don't fix it. Yeah, pretty much. Vladimir, how are you? Hello, my friend. Hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm having a great day. Thanks for asking. Sound is great. Good. If the sound is great, cool. Thank you. Video is excellent, and the likes are rising. Congrats on the new gear. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's just I had this old gear I wasn't using, so I went into Apple. I walked in. I said, "Hey, what are you going to give me for this?" And they said, "We're going to give you this much." I said, wow, "That's pretty good." And I was thinking of getting a new iPad, but I said, you know what? I could rather get a nice iPad Air. See, in the old days, up until the M1 MacBooks here, there was always a compromise between power and form factor. If you wanted a power, you had to get a bigger laptop or a bigger computer. But as technology has advanced, that has diminished less and less and less. And I think finally, with these M1 MacBooks, these ARM-based processors that put out no heat, that compromise is now a thing of the past. I have a tiny little laptop that I can fit in my shirt like this, and it's more powerful than my 2-year-old, 2019, my 2-year-old big, massive iMac here. It's much more powerful. And it's a tiny footprint. I can literally hold it one hand. It's like it's like I got cables in it, so I kind of shake it around here. But look how small this thing is. It's tiny, tiny little thing. So to give you an idea, look at my hand. Look how small this laptop is. So yeah, that's very cool. All right. So what else we got? Hmm. New angle is cool. Keeping it fresh for the lizard. Hey, you know your lizard. This guy right here, man. Hold on a second. He's definitely did the Lizard Wizard course. Muffin Man 1. You got good lizard skills there, buddy. Congrats. That's good stuff. Exactly. You got to entertain the lizard. If the lizard is not entertained, the lizard falls asleep and disappears. Okay, I got to get rid of this thing. Crops. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we got going on here. Hey, Stefan, the voice and camera sound and look good. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. There's a bit of a lag. How the minimum data structures and algo knowledge needed to land how minimum depends. Okay, how minimum data structures and algo knowledge do you need to land a job? Let me just get this into view again. Hold on a second. My apologies. Woo. All right. Fact of the matter is, you don't need very much. You don't need much at all for most jobs. In fact, for I would say 99% of jobs in development, data structure knowledge and algorithm knowledge is just minimal. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. Now, there's this talk about it a lot, I think, because HR departments have, in my opinion, in a silly way, decided that everybody's got to know algorithms and data structures. And this, I think it comes from Google and maybe Facebook. Why? Because Facebook and Google, the type of businesses that they have and the type of work that they do requires, I would imagine, a lot more data structures and algorithm knowledge, deeper knowledge, because they're dealing with such huge amounts of data. Whereas most development is not even close to that. I think 99% of developers will have to deal with very minimal data structures. You're much, much better off learning learning design patterns and learning refactoring over data structures and algorithms. Just saying, just saying. Again, I've been coding for 200 years now, and I can tell you that it's very rare I have to worry about complex data structures. Simple stuff like arrays and maps and hashes and stuff, but not much beyond that. Here we go. Have you tried any of the Infinity software such as Infinity Photo, and do you recommend them above Adobe Suite? I have not tried them, so I do not have an opinion, man. Try them out, see what you think. Oh man, I missed so many lives, man. Stef, what's your opinion on how much time it takes to learn to get a job? Everyone is milking this title. I should put out one. See, my titles are great. Uncle Stef test his new streaming laptop. That's sure to get a huge amount of people, right? Yeah, I got to start milking titles again. How many hours a day do you sleep? Most programmers prefer to work in the evenings. Do you agree? Yeah, I think when you're younger, you're kind of into that. Now that I'm an old geezer, 169 years old, I get up very early now because it keeps me fresh during the day. Yeah, how many hours? It depends on you. Yeah, but try to get decent amount of sleep. Sleep is very important for your ability to, for your cognitive abilities. I'm a striving programmer. Any thoughts on where I can find a mentor to help me along my journey? Yeah, I've been mentoring people for years. I have about a year or so ago, I set up a mentoring program. You want to check it out. There won't be links under this video right now. I will put them out after I'm done with the stream, but you can check any previous streams. Check out my mentoring program. And actually, if you go to the mentoring page, if you got questions about the mentoring program, you're interested in it, you can book a consult with me. Here we go. Learn to give your instincts a listen. Sometimes that's what will show you the way. When coding, just try things and see what happens. Exactly. You can always save your files as a different version anyway. Pretty much, man. Let me actually do something here. Hold on. Okay, a little bigger. So let me talk about that. One of my criticisms of traditional education is that the whole testing regime, where you do an exam, and if you fail that exam, you're screwed. Right? You can't progress to the next grade, or you can't get into the next program. So what happens is it teaches you to be very worried about trying things, very worried about trying to hit the next level, very worried about trying to level up. So a lot of people have that fear now. It's been basically trained into your lizard brain to fear taking risk, which is counterproductive because the successful people don't worry about taking risks. They take risks, they try, they explore new avenues. So, for example, in my software, in my curriculum, but I give, I set up in such a way that students can retry and retry and retry, because it doesn't matter if you retry 2-3 times to get where you want to go. So one thing I keep stressing to people who are new to code, don't be afraid to make mistakes in code. Look at the whole coding process. The whole coding process is error prone. So look at the fact we have iOS, whatever, what is that, 14 now, 14.01. Then you got 14.02, 0.03, 0.04. Each of those versions, 01, 02, 03, 04, they're bug fixes. These are the top coders in the world, amongst the top anyway, and there's still tons of mistakes. So don't worry about making mistakes. Same thing in business, by the way. Business is a process that's error prone. It's about making calculated moves where if you fail, the move doesn't kill you. So don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just go out there. You're good. You're good. Really love your channel. Really love your camera. Sound are nice. All right. Appreciate that. Thank you. Always try to up your game, dudes. Always try to up your game. There you go. Yeah, I appreciate that. Exactly. See, this is what I try to do here. So there's tons of YouTube channels where people will, I'm going to teach you how to build a Twitter clone with React, or teach you how to use Node.js in 5 different steps. That's fine. That's cool. What I try to do is I try to teach solid foundations, and then I try to teach the very advanced stuff, the stuff that you only pick up after 10, 15 years or so of experience development. So instead of trying to copy doing what everybody else is doing, I'm doing what nobody else or very few people are doing. Solid foundations and very advanced. So that's what you see at my channel. You see very beginners loving my stuff and very advanced people loving my stuff. That middle layer where everybody's copying everybody else's Udemy courses, I let them all do that. Anyway, because when you do my stuff, you don't need me after that, except for maybe the very advanced stuff. Hope that makes sense. Turkey says, all right. Hey, Stef, where can I learn how to make a good backend and make the transition from Spring Boot to Laravel or any backend language so easy? Should I study design patterns or what? Well, if you know Spring Boot, you should be able to learn Laravel fairly quickly. Yes, just start learning Laravel. Start doing like the hello world and start building real things. And then you want to get into 2 things, refactoring and design patterns. I'll put links after this video, after I'm finished the live under this video, but you can check any of my previous videos. You see books that I suggest. You do that, you'll level up your game quite quickly as a developer. I find Python much easier than JS. Well, JS is a weird language. It's got inconsistencies. That's its problem. Hello, arrivals. Hello. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome to the stream. By the way, I do have a Discord channel. People ask me for the longest time, Stef, put up a Discord channel. So we have a Discord channel. It's about 2.5, 3 weeks old. Over 1,000 members. There's links between all my latest videos. Have the Discord link. You can go there if you want to get going. Video and audio are excellent, Stefan. Good. I appreciate it. Thanks. It sounds and looks good. Okay. I appreciate the feedback. Okay. This looks and sounds good to me. I like the autofocus effects for your background, though. I imagine that's not new. I'm a newer sub. Thanks for everything, Mr. Stef. Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining the stream, by the way. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm known for. Besides my very long, luscious hair, Conan hair, I'm known for bokeh. That's blurriness. See how blurry that is? Look at how, watch this. Boom. There's like amazing blurry camera capabilities. There you go. It gets, I can even go more hardcore with my blurriness, but look at that. Crazy. Anyway. I like the setup, hearing you and seeing you. Very good. All right, appreciate it. Sound and camera good. You are the godfather of programming. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. My ears and speaker hears no noise, static at all. Good. Good, good, good. All right, that's good setup. I got that. Thank you. Thanks for joining stream, guys. By the way, if you're new to stream, welcome. My name is Stef, or Uncle Stef, or the 169-year-old developer. You can Google me. Yeah. Hey, Stef. Hey, Stef, current going through your HTML foundation courses. All right, cool. How's it going, Jamrock? I hope it's good. Let me know if you have any questions. How are we doing? Quality and sounding good. Oh, fantastic. Great. All right. Stef, you really can make it. Stef, you really can make it in movies, man. Seriously. I appreciate that. Very good. Hey, you just need to shave and have a quiff. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I can take over Vin Diesel's roles, right? That's it. We should rename Ruby Schrodinger's language, as it's both alive and dead. That's a pretty good. It's a pretty good joke. I like that. Hey, Steph, what is the difference between the different iterations of Studioweb, for instance, Studioweb 3, 4, and 5? Good questions. So, Studioweb, if you don't know, is my software as a service, my SaaS. I developed a prototype about 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. And we put it out there quick, MVP style, minimum viable product, the messiest database structure ever known to man or beast. And we, as soon as we put it out there, I started beta testing it. We had I don't know, I think we had a few thousand people on it. And then I got a couple of schools. So a couple of schools approached me. And then from there, we started modifying the application, adding to the application over time. So Studio 1, 2, and 3. Up until, but then when the code base hit about 7 years old or so, it was in such a foul shape that it was very difficult to make any changes to the core functionality. So, and we also had performance issues. So what we started doing, started building microservices. So I built another version of the app. I built another app that served as a microservices solution, if you will. So this other mini app, if you will, would support the original code base by feeding it data in an optimized manner via JSON objects. So this might be high level for some people. I don't know. What happened though, at some point I had to make a decision about whether to keep the old code base or to move on to new code base. So what I did was I took that executive decision because it's a very difficult decision. I said, we're going to rebuild from scratch now. But now we know the use case really well. We understood the business model. We understood where the bottlenecks were. We understood how it had to be designed so it was optimal for the particular application. And that was Studioweb 4. So that took about a year, I think, to build. And we built that, but it still had the old user interface. So then we started really modifying the new user interface with some Vue.js and other things, and that became Studioweb 5. So there you go. So Studioweb 5, which is basically 4 plus. Studioweb 5 is 4 plus plus. And it's a brand new code base. It's only a couple years old. It's much more mature, has much more modern technology, a much more modern ORM, a much more modern MVC. Like the original Studioweb was actually built with CodeIgniter, if you believe it or not, PHP CodeIgniter, which you shouldn't use these days. Whereas the current Studioweb is actually built with Laravel. So there you go. The courses themselves, of course, the Studioweb 3 courses, the Studioweb 5 courses are the updated versions of the courses, so the HTML5, the CSS3, the JavaScript. And I'm about to release some new updates as well, which everybody gets. Hey, Steph, you brought my coding skills to the next level. Ah, fantastic. I'm glad I could help. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. If you, oh, by the way, come on, guys. We have 86 viewers and only 56 likes. If you can raise the likes, I would appreciate that. How do I get this thing out of here? I don't know. Anyway, there's something in my streaming software is getting on my nerves. All right. Is this an M1 MacBook Pro? No, it's actually an M1 Air, believe it or not. But it's pretty souped up. 16 gig of RAM and 1 terabyte SSD. They're pretty much the same computer as the Pro. I just don't like that touch bar. I hate the Pro touch bar. It's terrible. So I like the keys. I prefer the wedge shape in the MacBook Air. And the reason I got the 16 gigabyte of RAM is because I found out if you're doing more of 10 minutes of video, if you have a 10-minute plus video to edit, the 8 gig will be a little bit light for you. So I got the 16 gig. I tend to keep my Apple computers for a good 4 or 5 years. So I don't mind spending a little extra money to get that big upgrade. John Baker says, can a 16-year-old get into the industry? I know the MERN stack. I'm currently learning the LAMP stack. Yeah, I think with the LAMP stack, you can start doing some freelancing. That would be somebody just messaged me. That would be the way to go. So yeah, you can, but freelancing. Just do some project. Watch this video. I put out a video a week ago or so. Look for me with a big 7. The 7 steps to becoming a pro developer or coder. Watch that video. It's going to help you. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for the thumbs. If you don't know me, my name is Stef. I'm the 169-year-old nerd, and this is our official salute. Code long and prosper. I've been coding since the 90s, so I just share my information with everybody. It's very... Vladimir Petrovsky says, how are the kitchen renovations going? Oh my God. I did it all backwards with the kitchen. I bought my marble countertops first, but I should have worked on the cabinets first. It's coming. If I'm lucky, it'll be done in 45 days. I'm just waiting for the contractors to do their work. I have electricians coming in I have one electrician coming in on Monday. We're rewiring some back stuff. Thanks for asking. Documentation versus tutorial. Which is better for learning? Depends on your learning style and depends on your level. When you get competent as a coder, when you're comfortable writing apps and so forth, you will probably be using documentation much more because it's just quicker and to the point. When you're a beginner and you don't understand certain concepts, then a tutorial will be more useful. Is Rust good in 2020? Rust, you mean? Yes, it is. Just got through very stressful first year. Thanks for making my days brighter, Steph. Hey, Ahmed, no problem. Don't worry. It only gets better. It just gets easier. As you practice, just gets easier. Don't worry about it. Steph, how do you ask someone to leave without messing up the years they have been with you? Hamza. I'm not sure. Is that in terms of personal relationship, boyfriend-girlfriend situation? Is it work-related? For the data structures and algo question, the minimum would be just knowing list, dictionary, sets, and for algos. Yeah, I like that list. I would agree with this. I would say also at least knowing how to manipulate those with recursive for loops. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment right there. Ferez Bisrul. I don't know. I didn't say that right. Sorry. I think that's reasonable. List, dictionary, sets, and out. Yeah, list, dictionary, sets. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. People stop focusing on algorithms and data structures. You're getting it wrong. The most important thing in software is architecture and system design. Fizz007 he's got a license to code, and he is 100% correct. Chris says, Steph, I'm the only software dev in my company, so everyone comes to me for advice where to start. I'm self-taught and only doing my degree now, but I'm not sure if that's the best path. Well, Chris, I don't know. Do you need a degree? I think you'll find that the degree is not going to help you in terms of practical knowledge. It will give you knowledge because you're just putting time into it. But only do the degree if you're getting paid to do the degree. Don't go into debt. You're better off just to build projects. You'll learn much more quickly. Fortunately, in the software development game, once you get past that initial barrier to entry, it's all about experience and skill sets. You can demonstrate good skill sets and experience, better off you're going to be. Leonardo Etvino Luf says, Steph, I want to move to Canada, so what kind of degree do I need to get a programmer job there? Well, because you want to move from abroad, if you do have a degree in that situation, as far as I understand, it's useful. So technical degree is your best bet. So in that situation, technical degree is your best bet. So that means computer engineer, computer scientist, anything technical. Because you got to do that, you want to do that immigration thing. If I want to become a programmer, being an IT specialist, help desk, network, sysadmin, what languages should I learn and what job position should I focus? It doesn't matter. Languages doesn't matter because programming is programming. So let's say you decide to learn Python, which would be a good choice, and you find that there's jobs in JavaScript, then you just learn JavaScript and you learn it in record time. So I always recommend the web stack because it gives you the most flexibilities in terms of job opportunities. Hey, I took a short jQuery course yesterday and it seemed fun. Don't really know why people diss it so much. Yeah, because it's like music. Music comes in and out of popularity. Technologies come in and out of popularity. It's whatever. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Just drop this in case. Best PC configuration or best laptop for programming. SSD and 16 gigabyte of RAM. SSD, 16 gigabyte of RAM. SSD drive, 16 gigabyte of RAM is more important than CPU these days. Roger, South Africa. Thanks for joining, Roger. Appreciate it. Sound and video are excellent. Okay, very good. Wow, it's a nice little rigging here. Wow. Those who like this video will live longer as a developer. That's true. That's scientifically been proven. If you like this video, your developer skills will just maximize, and you'll make much more money, and the girls will love you. No question. Love from Me Pure Raja Center people. Hey, cheers. I'm waiting for a reason to give double guns. I'm waiting for a reason for double guns, man. Is it good practice to save different file names for different drafts of projects so you can always revert to an older version? Yeah, you can do that. That's kind of the primitive, old school way of doing it. Once you get past the basics of coding, what you should do is get into something called source control. It's software basically that allows you to, it will keep track of all your previous versions. So you can just revert back to them by clicking a button, boop, or issuing a command. But that's a whole different subject. But for now, you could do, it's like, I don't know, homepage, and then homepage _1 or homepage _2, that's a primitive way of doing it, but yeah. Bye-bye. Please, one word, Laravel or Express Node? I say Laravel. Steph, do you get girls? I do date girls. Planning to get the new Apple Silicon MacBook Pro. Coding and compiling will be fast as lightning. Goodbye, Intel. Yeah, listen, I just got this computer yesterday, the day before, and I haven't done a bunch of tests, but it's like no fan in the air. It's lightning fast, instant on. The battery lasts for a long time. So yeah, it's definitely something interesting. There's no question about that. Steph, are you Zalim? I don't know what Zalim is. So I guess I'm not. Yeah, Laravel is extremely. Hey, how are you, Artur? Artur from UK. Hey, Stefan, how are you? Regards from SW UK. Hey, man, welcome to the stream. How much of a framework do you need to learn to build your first big project? You could build a big project without a framework, but it's advisable to learn a framework. It's a bit of a hassle at first, but in the end, you're going to have much less code to write. And in the end, you're going to have a much better application. I've talked about in previous videos. How are we doing for time? All right. What's your net worth? First rule of net worth: don't talk about your net worth. No clever people were harmed in making these video. By the way, do you see his course will profit with JS? This new setup is killing me. International stream, yeah. We always have people from all over the world. Is providing hosting to freelance client worth the effort in general? It depends what your long-term goal is. If you do provide hosting, understand that you kind of be responsible for them. I talked about this in other streams. I have to leave it to another day. How relevant is XML in the coding world, especially for a freelancer? For a freelancer, it has pretty much zero relevance. So I wouldn't concern about yourself about it. If you're in Java world in the enterprise, you're going to have to fill out XML files to send an email. Streaming laptop specs. Yes, brand new laptop. This is the new MacBook Air, their smallest laptop, entry level. It's the M1, which is like this groundbreaking technology. Every once in a while in the tech world, some company comes up with some groundbreaking technology. It's very, very rare. So in the coding world, Microsoft ASP, what they call it ASP Classic, was a groundbreaker, believe it or not. Microsoft ASP was a groundbreaker because it created that whole page-based paradigm of web app development. So that was one groundbreaker. Another groundbreaker was probably the whole HTML5 revolution, 2012, 2013. That was huge, huge implications. In terms of hardware, iPhone was a groundbreaker. It was. It was the first major touchscreen implementation that actually worked. And now I think these M1 silicons, these ARM-based processors that are super fast, don't need a fan, groundbreakers. They're order of magnitude more powerful than the previous tech. Better. So yeah, it's M1. As I was saying early in the stream, and prior to the M1, just like a few months ago, there was always a compromise between hardware and form factor. So I would always have to get a larger laptop that I wanted, physically a larger laptop, because I needed power, right? I needed to get the beefier CPU that needed the fans, etc. So with M1, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. So now you can get a super small computer, super lightweight, long battery life, and I can stream 4K video. I can edit 4K video like this. It's pretty amazing. So I'm sure everybody's going to catch up, but yeah. Hello, greetings from London, Stefan. Love your content. No, thanks for coming on. I appreciate that. Thank you. You like my new my hashtag light here? It's a little blurry. See, I'll get less blurry here. I just bought that for the stream. You got to have props. Hey, Steph, sir, how are you? I'm great. Thank you, Mr. Nababudin. I hope I said that right. Have you any plan to create a video about microservices architecture? I've done them in the past. What I'm going to have to do, if you look at my YouTube collection, I've taken off a lot, hundreds of videos, but I still have I think over 1,800 public videos. I think I'm going to have to revisit some of the old topics I covered. Like I have videos on what ORMs, microservices, MVC, design patterns, refactoring, composition over inheritance, all these kind of semi-abstract concepts that I think are very useful for people. I will get around to it. If you plan on hosting, once I start freelance, should I go shared server? I prefer VPS. We use VPS. I've done shared. Then I had dedicated servers. I had my own servers in my own place. I brought in, back in the early mid-90s, I brought in one of the first HDMI lines, I think it was. It was the first high-speed connection. I had 32 static IPs. I was hosting people there. And then I just started co-locating a server box And I don't know, years ago, I decided to go VPS, and virtual private server is the way to go. 100%. Hmm. Hey, Stefan, do you know Hashim Arif? No, I do not know him. Sorry. Abdu Abdillah. Hey, Stefan, I learned the foundations of HTML, CSS, and JS, but when I start on project, I feel stuck, not on the code, but on what should I do and how to go about it. How to go about it. How do I get over this? Thanks. That's where you should do. I'm not for getting caught up in tutorials and project-based courses. I have a few in my program, but just a few. So maybe do one or two simple little projects on YouTube. How to build X, Y, Z, with whatever, with HTML, CSS, and JS. And then that will give you an idea. I got to put out some videos actually publicly on how to design a project from scratch. I do teach a bunch of that stuff. People say my freelance course, not trying to sell you a course, but in the freelance course, I provide a project management template, time tracker template. And people say they learn so much about managing projects and building projects just from that template. So you may want to check that out. What are the requirements to start as junior Java? It depends on the workplace. Java typically means working for very large organizations. So keep that in mind. So you may need a degree for that. Steph, do you like chutney? I don't know what chutney is. How do you get your first job as a junior Java developer? It's usually very large companies. That means you're probably going to need a degree or a lot of experience. You got to be able to build stuff. Typically, Java work is going to be web app, probably with Boot. What's it called again? I forget all of a sudden what it's called. It will come to me. Or you're going to be doing Android development. Programming and computer stuff has always been a hobby for me. Been doing it since the 90s, and only a few will succeed. I'm in the medical field and never tasted layoffs. Just do computer on the side. Well, actually, these days there's so many jobs in software development that unless you really mess up, you're very much going to succeed. So I've learned a lot of things from you. Thanks for your precious time, man. No worries. I'm about to finish off the stream. Big companies and small companies, which is better? It depends on your personality type. Big companies, you have to be able to deal with big company politics and bureaucracy. But if you're good at that, you might be able to rise up. Small companies mean a lot more flexibility in the types of jobs you may do. You may have a lot more responsibilities, which could be a lot more fun. Whereas when you work for big companies, you're typically siloed into a very narrow track. So if you work in a big company, you might be in charge of working on the help dialog boxes. For example, I did a project back in the 90s. I worked temporarily. I was a contractor for just a short period of time for a big telco. And my job was just to work on the help file systems. That's it. The help file systems. That's all I did. Nothing else. That was my job, just that one thing. Whereas you're working for a small company, chances are you're going to be doing architecture and all kinds of stuff. So it depends what you want to do. All right. Hey, Chad, how are you, man? Hey, Steph, just checking in. Hope all is well. I hope everything is well with you. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate it. I'm going to be finishing off this stream. I'm going to be finding some questions. That's a good comment there. Vladimir says, I'm not very pleased with the way we teach at my full stack bootcamp. I prefer focusing on front end. What courses of yours would you suggest I take that's focused on design? I teach in my front end courses. I teach it's all about the foundations. It's not as design specific, although I touch on that in terms of the basic principles of UX and UI. But it's not a design specific course. It's designed just to give you a good understanding of how to actually build front ends. You could try it out, and if it's good for you, run through it starts off really simple. Run through the HTML and then the CSS. If it's no good for you, just get your money back. The OOP part of, the OOP part of the Studioweb Python course is very good. Can also be interesting just for learning OOP, even if you're not into Python. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, in my Python course, I teach OOP. OOP is a universal, by the way. If you understand OOP, you basically understand it for all the major OOP languages. There's very subtle differences between the two. Hey, Bailey, guten Tag. How are you? Greetings from Greece. Beautiful Greece. What's the new laptop? Congrats, by the way. It is an M1 Mac. It is an M1 Mac. Here it is, M1 Mac. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Steph, do you Bowcat? I don't know what the Bowcat is. All right. Calvin, hey, welcome to the stream. What kind of camera are you using? What are you using for video capture? I am using a Canon C300 III. It's overkill. It's a professional cinema camera. If you got the Canon C70, you'll get the exact image. And I'm capturing with something called Ecamm Live, which is a piece of software that is exclusive to Mac OS. Vladimir says, thank you for the excellent advice. Wish you all the best. I hope I get to live as long as you and prosper. Well, thanks. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming in. And just keep working at it. You'll be fine. You missed my question. Okay, I'll answer John's question if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. I want to head out. So should I finish learning LambStack and then WordPress? Will I need a portfolio now? If yes, should I put my projects on it? Yeah, you want to put whatever projects you have. Put your top ones. Don't put all of them. Put your best one, and learn the LAMP. Don't have to be a master at it, and then pivot over to WordPress, and then because WordPress is basically a LAMP implementation, and you'll be good to go, my friend. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we got everybody. Is C# bed for web development? You mean bad? No, it's fine for web development. How do you plug into the Mac with that cam? I use an encoder called CamLink, CAMLINK, CamLink. So you plug. I have an HDMI out of that camera, goes into this CamLink, which accepts that, and the CamLink is a USB-A out. But I have to use a converter to bring it into the Apple laptop, which is USB-C only. All right. I'm going to have to let you go. It's been an hour. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate it. If you like this stream, do give it a thumbs up. Tell your friends about it. Have a great weekend. I may come on the weekend. I don't know. So I'm glad that this setup is work. Camera seems to be working great. The audio is good with this microphone. And yeah, we're good. So, okay, we'll see. Woot. My manager asked me to establish feedback culture in order for me to get promoted to tech lead. What does that mean? He wants you to create an easy means of communication within the developers you have there, so that people can easily communicate with each other and give feedback about what's going on. So you might, if you haven't set up Slack, that might be an opportunity for you as well. So there you go. Live, code long and profit, my friends. Welcome. Quebec, after a year and a half, I don't know, the curfew is several months. The curfews are lifted. I'm like that guy coming out of Shawshank Redemption. I don't know if you've seen that movie. So we can actually go out tonight, but of course it's freezing cold. So thanks for joining the stream. We will see you guys soon. Yeah. Cheers. Do I have any video? I got no video here. I'll have to rig it up. Yeah, Uncle Steph was busy with work, so I couldn't go live. That's why. All right, we'll talk soon. Ciao, ciao.